let's continue our journey into, yeah, we finished this. We have a Jade Lock to do. Feeling the Jade Lock is on Mercury stories. I'm still considering the fact that Mercury might be the true path, or maybe Devon's the final path, because... Oh no, I don't want to quit. Unless we get a gold key from somewhere else. We've seen the start of the heist with Laverna. We've seen the end of the heist with Locke. Locke transitioning into something else as Box has seemingly betrayed him. Where does Vels fall into this? Culling. Oh, that's right, we're supposed to get a resolution to the, Olimpo shareholders meeting. Damn it. Huh? Fucking damn it. Fuck, shit, fuck. Excellent start. What was I doing? Really didn't have an obligation to kill myself like this. Life was going well up until this point. Quite well, in fact. Could almost argue this was the exact worst time for something like this to pop up. Which, of course, I couldn't help but feel was intentional. I internally cursed up a storm. I didn't want to do what I was about to do. It was stupid. It wasn't necessary. It was irrational. I hadn't thought it out ahead of time. In all likelihood, I'd get myself killed for nothing. Whatever. To be honest, I didn't really have a choice. As much as I was grumbling, I wasn't so far gone that I wouldn't do anything in this situation. Still, it was pretty fucking inconvenient. Especially considering when it had popped up. I say that Mercury might be the true face of our primary main character, because the Jade Lock, but then again, like, the money is for Box campaign, supposedly. I did my best to assemble a suitable disguise on short notice. A quick trip to a dirt cheap clothing store to pick up a hoodie, jeans, and face mask. What'd I have to do? Didn't have more time than that. I looked further up the street. There it was. The V-Hall. Could hear a commotion from inside the building, even this far away. Yep, it was crowded. It was intense. Which meant it was insanely dangerous. Although, in these particular circumstances, all of that probably worked to my advantage. If there were a lot of people, and if there was a lot of activity, then it would be far easier for an imposter like myself to be undetected. What did I have to do? Walked up to the front door. The guard clearly looked distracted. His attention was mostly directed at the events happening inside. However, it appears as though things hadn't completely become so chaotic that the Duats were content to leave this entrance unguarded. I almost wanted to just slip by while he wasn't looking at me. That probably was more of a risk than it was worth. Instead, I just coughed. The guard looked at me, still distracted. Oh, right. Password. To speak the name of the dead is to make him live again. Now, how did you know that? Cool. Funny thing that you would think that, okay, Vels did their research going into this, but if Vels is also Thane, then of course Vels would know the password. This guy didn't give a shit. He was busy trying to see the main event happening inside. Which, fair enough. Even from the doorway, it was clear that shit was going down. Serious shit. For one, the lights were mostly off. Not completely, like it wasn't dark in there, but it was dimmed. Created a grim atmosphere. There's also the fact that the Duat members had made something of a circle around the center of the room. There were a few stragglers in the back, but for the most part, everybody in the room was encircling one scene I couldn't quite see from my perspective, though I could guess at it. I began making my way closer. However, even from my position on the outside of the circle, I could clearly hear the intense argument happening between two different voices. And watching silently were the Duats. Not like a collection of Duats, but like the whole gang. Not literally, of course. There were almost certainly dozens of people not currently in attendance. Still, this was the biggest gathering of Duat members I had yet witnessed. Concerning. But understandable considering the circumstances. Carefully as to not draw attention, I began pushing my way through the crowd. I needed to get a better look at this scene. Not just a better look, a closer position. Of course, if I drew too much ire, I could also draw attention. Duats were a broad group. Not like everyone knew everyone, but even still, I'd rather not chance an encounter. Okay, so my guess up front is that we are working on resolving the Krish problem with the Duats. And the shareholders meeting at Olimpo might get resolved in Laverna's path, since Laverna kind of transitioned from her normal pursuits to being a lawyer again, and assisting in the Lara Olimpo pursuits. The good thing was, I was given quite a bit more leeway since everyone's attentions were focused on the scene happening in the middle of the room. How could they not be? After all, the conflict playing out was quite captivating. One side stood Lara, face flushed with anger. Clearly she stood passionately against what was taking place. The other side was Yi. He had a cold, cruel look on his face. To the untrained eye, it appeared as though he was far less emotional about everything going on. However, I knew better. There was a simmering rage in him, too. He was simply attempting to hold it in for the sake of appearances. And then there was the figure in the chair in front of Yi. Tied up and looking supremely scared was Krish! Oh, Krish, you absolute goddamn moron! What the hell did you do? It's at a complete loss. Like, usually had a pretty good beat on what was going on. Could make some general inferences. I could still do that about some parts of the situation. But Krish's presence here. Just what the fuck? You just need to stay put wherever Polly had squirreled you away. Unless Polly turned on you for trying to out him as a scumbag, that was it. That was the only thing you need to do. Whatever. You could cry and complain and scream later. Right now I just had one objective. Getting Krish the fuck out of this confrontation alive. Difficult proposal, to be sure. I just have to try my best. Part of that involved getting ready to make a move. Okay, yep, we are definitely out here to resolve the Krish thing, in not the way we were expecting. And so carefully I continued to scooch forwards through the crowd. Circle had given the main actors a bit of space. However, only so much. The person currently closest to Krish other than Yi was only a handful of feet away. Perhaps possibly even less than that. Well-timed rush. The timing would need to be perfect. For now, try getting into position. In the meantime, try tuning into the argument happening. Might have some useful information. Lara, I ask for the last time. What is the hold-up? On what grounds are you delaying this? It's not complicated, yes. This little shit killed what? This little shit killed Marduk. Outsider stuck into our sanctum, murdered our boss. What? And Lara wishes to, what? Let him just walk away? Okay, so this had to have been Thane's doing. This had to have been Thane's doing, and now Yi's blaming him. Oh, sorry, Yi's blaming Krish. Yi's blaming them for this. Maybe he did it. I don't know. Oh, the kid's young. It wouldn't be right to enact punishment. Boo-hoo. That sort of weak shit is unacceptable. We are the Duats. We live by our strength. Our claim to Panthea is built upon violence. We don't pull our punches in any circumstance, and certainly not when our head has been murdered. The criminal will not just be killed. They must be executed. The speech elicited a fair amount of cheering. However, less cheering than such a speech would typically get. Probably because it was given by Yi against Lara. While almost all the Duats probably agreed with the sentiment behind Yi's words, they struggled to directly endorse him with their cheers. And so Yi did not receive the deafening endorsement that many had emboldened him to settle the matter. That may have emboldened him to settle the matter then and there. Would you shut the fuck up, Yi? This one sentence caused its own bout of whooping and hollering. Obviously, I'm not saying we should let Marduk's death go unpunished. It would have to be insane to suggest otherwise. It was Marduk who built the Duats up, who brought us to where we are today. We all owe him our deepest respect, and the coward who stuck in and murdered him will be given the harshest punishment possible. I don't dispute this whatsoever. My only concern, if you would actually listen to a goddamn word I said, was that we don't actually know if this is the person who killed Marduk. I don't want to convict the wrong suspect. Excuse me? There's no proof. It looks bad, I'll admit. I'm just asking that we proceed with a bit of caution. Caution, huh? No proof. Huh, is everyone hearing this? We catch Krish inside Marduk's office with a dead body, and Lara's saying there isn't any proof. The hell is that about? The kid entered through the window, which means somebody else could have gone in the window, gone out. At the very least, we should listen to some testimony, don't you think? Have the kid explain what happened. What he says happened. I'm aware people can lie, Yi. Hey, Yi, shut up. I'm not saying the slightest bit... I'm just saying the slightest bit of due diligence might be called for when prosecuting the murder of our boss. I know you're not the biggest fan of being responsible, but that's why you don't get to call the shots. What difference would it make? Excuse me? Murder or not, let's be clear here. Murderer, Krish, is dead meat. I already had a hit out on them. On them. Plus, Krish intruded into our base. They've seen so many faces. It's not a choice to be made. The execution is happening. You could waste time with some pointless pleasantries if you want. As for me, I'd like to get justice. I'd like to hear what the fuck they were doing here. Maybe you don't understand such concepts. I understand justice more than you, jackass. Interrogating Krish is not some pointless task. The execution is inevitable. Fine. We'll kill the kid regardless. I'm not trying to dispute that right now. However, if Krish didn't kill Marduk, we still need to figure that out in order to make sure the true killer can be brought to justice. Some testimony would help on that front, and I find it highly suspicious that you would seek to impede that process. Unlike you. Excuse me? Suspicious? Yeah, maybe you killed Marduk. The fuck does that mean? I don't know, Yi. Smooth, Lara. I like that grin. What does it mean? Say, was it you and your gang that found the body? Yeah, we fucking did. I saw that jackass peek out the door and close it. So did a bunch of other Duat members around here. Krish, you are a failure of a stealth. I'm just the only person to fucking do something about it. I had Vanka with me. Went over to Marduk's office. Came across the scene with Krish here trying to escape back out the fucking window. Got a problem with that story. I'm just saying, you were in there for a minute. Bang works for you, and you're not letting Krish speak. Possibility is open. Oh, you fucking bitch. How stupid are you? Why do you think Krish was just running around that office with a living Marduk? That I silently murdered the boss immediately after entering in the room in front of a random witness. That's how fucking stupid you think I am? Well, the shoe fits. He began chuckling to himself. There was no mirth in that laughter, though. It was a laughter that took the place of a scream. A few moments later, he recomposed himself. Ah, boy, oh boy, you sure do have a talent of ticking me off, Lara. I mean, making accusations like that. Cheeky. Quite cheeky, that. I'm surprised, honestly. I didn't think you'd stoop to those sorts of tactics. Tactics? What tactics? Playing dumb, huh? A favorite hobby of yours, it seems. The bogus allegation tactic. You know full well that I had nothing to do with killing Marduk. The very idea doesn't make a lick of sense. You're just throwing out wild shit to make me look more sinister. Alright, give me one good reason why you wouldn't kill Marduk. One? I could give a dozen. Cool, give one. Well, for one, the Duat headship was up in the air. Would succeed, it was in debate. He hadn't clearly labeled a single person. I know we're not on the basis of terms, as this big argument has made abundantly clear, but I would not kill the head when such a major question was unanswered. That's prime Civil War material, and believe it or not, I'd rather not tear apart the Duats. There was silence that followed this. That's not a terrible reason, actually. Though I just took in this. Now, if we could prove that somehow Marduk had told Yi he was disinherited from the head of the Duats, then a smile crossed her face. So he admitted, huh? The fuck? I just denied murdering Marduk, dumbass. Not killing Marduk. You admit that Marduk favored me before his death. What? I mean, that's what your defense boils down to, right? You knew that Marduk, in general public sentiment, favored me before the death. Therefore, you wouldn't have killed him before you get a chance to prove yourself and take back the Duat headship. I mean, that's what your argument amounts to, right? Really? Is this how you want it to be? Want what to be? You know damn well what I mean. You're going to make this whole thing about that. This public argument's going to be about the Duat headship. I mean, we gotta have that argument some point in time. Come on, Yi. Don't kid yourself. This is what it was always going to be about. Hell, this is what it was about from the beginning. To think or say otherwise, well, that's just delusion, isn't it? A cold air passed through the crowd. Tension only heightened. feeling that a fight could break out at any moment was stronger than ever. I continued inching closer. Not at all. Could have settled that matter more tactfully when all parties were here. But fine, I'll make it clear. With Marduk dead, we need a new leader. As a senior officer who has been with the Duats for the longest, I believe I should succeed Marduk. Of course you would think that. Of course I would. It makes sense. Just think about it for a second. Just think, Lara. Think! I have served by Marduk's side for the longest. I understand him the best. Seriously? You're saying that when Thane exists? Lara, Thane wouldn't be Thane if he understood Marduk. I also have the most accomplishments of all the senior officers. I understand the infrastructure the best. Make the group the most money. By all accounts, I have the greatest claim to lead the Duats. Greatest claim, my ass. Look, ye. Even I'm not so blind as to say that you don't play an important part in keeping the Duats healthy. I'm not trying to kick you out of the gang. I should hope not. Here's the plain and simple truth. Public sentiment is on my side. Who gives a shit? The Duats, namely. This brought about a load of cheering as well as a fair bit of booing. Oh, shut it! And like that, the group was brought to heel. Hey, I like it, assertive Laura. You're qualified, sure. This isn't a matter of merit. It's a simple way to choose the next leader. We put it to a vote. Fuck that. Wow, openly denying democracy. Ballsy, I'll say that for you. Since when has the Duats been a democracy? Marduk wasn't voted into office. I didn't win an election to become a senior officer. That shit goes against the Duat spirit, and the fact that you're trying to inject it means you don't understand what this organization stands for at all. Maybe it doesn't stand for what it used to. Ever think of that? I'm sure you think that much. Besides, an open election isn't a fair way to decide things. If it was, I'd just recruit a bunch of low-rank losers to vote for me. Now that would be unfair. It's not much better than what you've done. What? If there were to be any sort of election, I would say it should be a decision made by the people who have proven their worth. Namely me. People who are critical to keeping the Duats alive. Namely me. Senior officers can vote for a leader amongst ourselves. Fuck that. Have a problem? Hell yeah, I have a problem. Thane fucking works under you? How on earth do you imagine that a three-person election would even resemble fairness? It's made up of the people that Marduk entrusted. But fine. We can include captains as well. Let's stop. Lara was faltering. Oh? I have a problem with that idea as well. Why is that? Is it possible because you know you'd lose that vote too? Face it might be popular amongst the grunts, but between everyone who's worth a shit, you're a joke. You hear that, everyone? Ye thinks you're not worth a shit. How do you feel about that? Nobody qualified would trust you. Ye, how forgetful are you? I'm not. I guess you're extremely disrespectful. And how do you figure that? Marduk himself, our leader, appointed me a senior officer. In fact, by your own admission, he clearly favored me. I don't see how you can justify the statement, nobody qualified would trust me. The person who was most qualified trusted me. He thought I should succeed him when he died. You can't possibly know that. I can guess that. Really, I think you missed a trick there, Laura, by not playing to the crowd there. By not playing to the crowd there and saying, see what he thinks of you? You want him to be the boss? See what he thinks of you, everybody? I mean, really? You sure you want him in charge? He doesn't give a shit about you. He may keep the gang running, everybody, but he does not give a two shits about you. Yeah, well, that's just one moment in time. I bet his mind would change by the next day. Uh-huh. Do you have absolutely any basis for saying something like that? You took a step back, waffling. You don't, do you? Actually, according to my sources, your little money play didn't amount to shit. What? I hear that some grunts under your control made a mess of things, and the cops are called over to the shop where we're storing our dirty money. One of them found the stash, and the money was transported away in an armored truck. That's a shit ton of profit lost by people under your control. The fuck? The whole crowd was now starting to worriedly mutter. It was their money on the line. Their money that had potentially been stolen. Ye's claim had certainly grabbed some attention. Yeah, it's a pretty bad situation. Luckily, you all have me. Luckily, I have a contact within the police. I'm sure we can come up with some strategy to raid and retrieve the money if we can get our shit together in the relative future. That requires, getting our shit together. Funny thing about that contact in the police. This smells like bullshit. Oh? Yeah, no, you're full of shit, ye. You're behind the money going missing. Wow. No, you. An effective comeback. No, but for real, this doesn't make any sense. Sources. What sources? When did you get this news? I haven't seen anyone come up to you recently. You haven't taken a phone call while we've been arguing. Gosh, Lara, it's almost like my life didn't start the moment we caught Krish murdering our boss. What would you think of that? If you got this information earlier, you would have said something. This is a big deal. You would have been rounding the troops. And yet you didn't say it then. What can I say? It was poor timing. Things happen right after one another. I don't buy that excuse. I don't buy that you'd come up with a bald-faced lie right here. She must have known that our money would be intercepted by the police ahead of time, which means you must have arranged for it to happen. Wow, what a novel you're writing. Anything to shirk the blame, huh? Tell me why I'm wrong. Oh, I don't know. How about the fact that most of that money is fucking mine? Or think of that fact. I am a Duat member. Why would I sabotage the Duats? Hasn't stopped you in the past. I don't even want to know what you're on about now. No? Because I think it's pretty relevant to hear right now. Fine, bring it. What insane lie do you have now? It's no lie. It's a disgusting truth. You've been systematically killing Duat members. Flash of annoyance crossed E's eyes. Annoyance that belied the fact that Lara was right. The crowd was already pretty wild before. This accusation sent things into overdrive. Well, that worked out for me. The more hectic things were, the easier I could move towards Krish. At this point, I was right by them. I wanted to find a way to signal out to them, but anything I did that they'd notice, someone else would probably notice. And can we trust them to not react to our presence? And give the whole gambit away. No, instead I should wait for the right moment. Killing Duat members. Seriously. Yep. Not just any Duat members. Ones aligned with me. Aligned with you? The hell's that mean? Look, it's no secret I've been trying to make inroads with the Duats. I've been trying to get people to my side. Almost each and every one of them has gone missing. Which is why, not too long ago, I followed Thane. We went to the Manjet and killed more Duat followers. Let's be real. Conducting something like this isn't his style. He's been under your thumb for a long time. You were, at the very least, just as much a part of this as he was. This proves you are more than willing to undermine the Duats if it will help you rise up through the ranks. It proves you're a piece of shit that will even backstab your own allies. It proves you don't deserve to succeed, shit. He stayed silent for a moment, spurring on a ton of jeering from the group. You done? Can I point out how ridiculous this all is? Make excuses, you mean? Lara, you said you witnessed this a while ago. How long ago exactly did you sit on the fact that Thane was killing Duat members? Ah, that's... Oh, all of a sudden it was Lara who was at a loss for words. And we're both, sitting on information that makes us look suspicious. Look, I just didn't have any hard proof, and so we decided to tell nobody. Look, I don't know if this is true. Maybe Thane has been doing what you claim independently. If that's the case, you're admitting that you sat on some pretty fucking huge information because you were scared. What? You'd get blowback. How the hell does that work in your mind? Even without evidence, you fucking bring it up if you catch Duat members murdering each other. No, your whole story's probably bullshit. The only thing you just proved is that apparently you have been making secret alliances with Duat members. Which sounds pretty goddamn seditious if you ask me. Not all the behavior I'd want from a Duat leader. What is this? How are you deflecting from the fact that you've been caught murdering members of your own gang? It's easy to deflect from obvious lies. What part of this is an obvious lie? There are so many problems with this stupid story. Here's a nice and simple one. If I were killing Duat members, I sure as shit would have killed you. Oh boy, not that things weren't extremely intense before now, but an explicit threat from one senior officer to another only elevated the tension in the room. How the fuck was I going to get Krish out of here safely? Ha! That answer's simple. You're too much of a chicken shit. Not right. It is. You're fine killing people below me. But you know that actually killing me would be a problem. It would require showing some fucking guts. Guts you only wished you had. Man, this is just pathetic. I'm not even trying to make arguments anymore. This provocation, and petty provocation at that. You want me to kill you right here and now? I'm not falling for it. Oh no. Whatever will I do knowing that you won't kill me? So that clearly was my master plan you've so cleverly deduced. God, you're annoying. You should have died back when Art would have paid for it. Once this is over, I'm going to kill the guy who helped free you. How? With a gun, obviously. What? No, I mean the guy who helped free me. So did I. Who do you think I was talking about? Was it... Forget about it. Random name pun there. Who is how? Geez, you're trying to lead the Duats and you get confused in a simple conversation. Who's deflecting now, asshole? I didn't get confused, you did. Yeah, sure. You talked about killing my savior and I tried to clarify which guy you're going to kill. Okay, but we're not making... None of us are looking any better by continuing this. No, you asked how. No, she asked you. Quiet, Zouchi. Zouchi, if you knew how, explain it to your boss. He's clearly not listening to me. Okay, first off, he doesn't know how. He's chronically stupid. Secondly, I'm listening. You're just not talking straight. What? How is this turned into an Abbott and Costello act? What the fuck? Holy shit, Yi, how is the guy's name? How should I know if I don't know it? What the fuck? You're joking. How are you this dumb? Why are you asking him? The dude's not even here. Zouchi, shut the fuck up. It's embarrassing having your dumb sidekick still be smarter than you. You know what? Fuck this. He bent down, then stood back up, and bang. What anyone knew was happening in one slick motion. Oh. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. For anyone knew what was happening, in one slick motion, he aimed his pistol right at Laura's head and shot her between the eyes. What? The room collectively went silent. The only sound was Laura's body hitting the floor. Shit! Fuck! What? This sucks! Just like that. Laura was killed. She died so unceremoniously. In an instant of violence, she was gone. It was unsatisfying. No, it was saddening. No, it was infuriating. No, it wasn't the thing to focus on right now. Compartmentalize. I was looking for an opening, and he slowly began walking forwards towards Laura's body. One particularly zealous Duat member began to walk forward, shouting up a storm. Instant that happened, Yi raised the pistol right at him, and the man went silent. Yi, you bastard. He was taking advantage of an important rule. Only senior officers were allowed to bring weapons into the V-Hall. Which meant the reason he was walking over toward Laura. Sure enough, he gave the corpse a brief pat-down. Heh. Stupid bitch didn't even have a gun on her. He surveyed the group, which was now filled with both frightened and furious fans. So, we could have continued that pointless argument, but I think this is far more elegant. In case any of you were unclear on this point, it is now clear who is in charge. That means that it took Yi this long to turn back around and realize what was happening. As Yi was facing the other side of the crowd, I saw my opportunity. In a furious instant, I stepped forward from my spot and cut the ropes tying Krish to their chair with my knife. Just as soon as that was done, I grabbed their arm and began spreading through the crowd towards Marduk's office. Fuck, stop! Imagine that Yi held up his pistol at me and Krish, but at this point, there were too many people in the way. I also imagine the crowd would have been a lot more cooperative had Yi not just shot another senior officer. As it was, they were just sort of standing around. Still, there were far too many people in the way to get out through the front entrance. However, the path to Marduk's office was mostly uninterrupted. Zouchi, hold on to this. Yi tossed Zouchi his pistol. Keep the riffraff in line. Nobody leaves until I'm back. Bang? Xia, you're with me. Just like that, 3 Duat members were on our tail. Which, very unideal. I just had to thank my lucky stars that he had alienated the rest of the gang with his random act of violence. Because of that, he didn't know who was truly still loyal, and had to resort to relying on his inner circle, while keeping the rest of the group contained. In truth, I thought the conflict between Laura and Yi might reach that point, knowing both their personalities. Could only hope it would go smoothly, though. I kept sprinting towards Marduk's office, and Krish kept pace. To their credit, they had caught on incredibly quickly. They even seemed to know who I was, despite very clearly not getting a good look at me. Guess they were already anticipating that I would come to save them. That moron. Soon enough, we made our way into Marduk's office. We entered in just as soon, slammed the door back shut. Why'd we go in here? Not the exit. Too many people that direction wouldn't have made it. Now start climbing to the window. It's a lot easier to enter Marduk's office through the window than it was to exit through it. However, it was still entirely possible. While Krish dealt with that, I pushed the nearby couch to block the door, trying to buy us some time. Oh fuck! However, just as soon as the couch touched the door, it was knocked back as the door slammed open, and with it, so was I. Facing me down was the Goliath, Fang. And behind him was Xia, who already had his iron knuckles equipped. The two walked further into the room, and behind them was Yi, a twisted scowl plastered across his face. After he entered the room, he kicked the door closed behind him. Then he reached back behind his waist and pulled out the mini katana knife that worked. Well, Jesus. Looked over to Krish. They hadn't made their way out the window yet. And seeing my predicament, they let go and dropped back down. God damn it! Well, well, well. It isn't the hooded asshole. Why am I not surprised? Really, it's my fault for not counting on this. I'll hand it to you, Krish. You're good at drawing sympathy. That's about all you're good for, but it's something. Yee. You live a sad life, you know? Looking to Krish, I sort of expected to see some of the sadness that filled their eyes last time they had faced down Yi, but there wasn't any of that remaining. Instead, Krish kind of looked hollow. More than that, disappointed. As though they had accepted who Yi truly was, even if they didn't like it. Ah, Krish, to you it might look that way. For many philosophers have posited that the only thing that matters about your life is how you view it. If a person sees value in their own life, then it has value. End of story. I don't care. Hey, if you want to cut the shit, that's fine with me. Just trying to give you a thought you can cling to when you bleed to death. Yi's nasty gaze then turned to me. And you? I guess if we removed those sleeves, I'd see some lightning tattoos. Gave Yi no response. He apparently took this as confirmation. Want to do me the honors of an introduction this time? Spent enough time feeding you bullshit. Let's just get to it. Look of confusion crossed over Yi's face at that last comment. Then he just shrugged his shoulders. Suit yourself. I've dealt with you enough as Thane, so... Just like that, Yi and his men began to advance. Damn it. Had talked a big game, I struck at the right time, but in the end I still found myself in a shit situation. Oh... Here we go. There were 3 of them. I hadn't gotten a good look at Krish, but I noticed that they already had some injuries. They were wincing through the sprint. I doubted they would be in any real fighting shape. Fang and Xia. I had fought the 2 before and held them off for a time. That was a losing fight. True, last time I also had to contest with Zhaoqi and Xia. This time, Yi was getting involved far earlier. I also didn't have the element of surprise, and the 3 surrounded me. Quickly flashed through scenarios in my mind. No, shit. When I thought about it, Krish and I were as good as dead if we tried to face the 3 head-on. To be honest, I doubted I'd be able to take on Fang in a one-on-one setting. With Yi and Xia running support, it would be impossible. Only there was a way to gain an advantage, even take one of them out of the picture. I scanned through my memories. Then I realized something. Xia, Yi killed your sister. What? She was going to ally with Lara, so he killed her. Xia looked back at Yi with a mix of confusion, betrayal. Yi just looked back for a moment. Oh, god damn it. Wow, Jesus! And then without a second's hesitation, Yi lifted up the knife and stabbed it down into the back of Xia's left shoulder. The blade plunged all the way to the handle. Just as soon as Yi had stabbed it into Xia, he pulled it out. Jesus! Xia immediately dropped to his knees, crying out in pain. He just wiped the blood off the blade with one of his gloved hands. I don't know who you are, but you're a real pain in the ass, you know that. Bang, kill them both. Just like that, with Xia rapidly bleeding to death, the fight was on. Get out of the way, Krish. Okay, I normally expect some resistance in this request. However, given that a man just died before their very eyes, Krish seemed a lot more eager to listen up. They retreated toward the corner. Good. Now, how is I going to handle Fang? Let's give it a shot. Whatever, I just had to do it. I ran up to him, needing to do something. Before I could do anything, Fang made the first move. Dodge, dip, dive, dodge. Ah, shit. Dodge, droop, dip, dive, dodge. Oh, that's the one thing that isn't... Oh, I have to... It's been way too long. I have to remember all the foibles of this fighting minigame. Dodge, droop, dip, dive, dodge. Okay, there's no duck in here. The last woman is able to duck under Fang's arm and it's swiped right at me. Reboot of opportunity presented itself. Yes, I am saves coming. Don't add me. Kick swipe. Oh shit. God, that was quick! What is that shit? Kick swipe. Began to wail on the side of his chest, multiple strikes hitting his exposed flesh. Unexpectedly, this didn't appear to have much of an effect on him. Instead of paying my attacks mine, he simply began to wind up his own counterattack. Alright, time to duck. Swipe, slam, swipe, strike, grab. Ah! You choose something before it's too late. Need to stay on the offensive if I had any chance of victory. That mind aimed a punch right at Fane's knuckles as he swung a downward fist at me. Crack! Oh, that fucking hurt. It had to be done and I couldn't linger. Immediately I jumped up and took the opportunity to plant my other fist right in Fang's face. This one also connected with a satisfying thud. Ha! Got him! Pushed forward, hoping to strike him more in his chest, but he no-sold it. However, I overestimated how much time I had bought with that attack. Save scum, let's go. Responding with brutal swiftness, Fang kicked me right in the chest. Big boot. One blow sent me stumbling back into the desk on the other side of the room. How do I... jump duck. Left, right. Jump left, right. Jump left, duck. What the fuck is this? Duck. Shit. Okay, jump duck. Left, right. Okay, jump left, right. Jump left. Jump. Alright. This is getting a bit much. Okay, let me process the jump duck. Left, right. Jump left, right. So duck. Jump duck left. Jump duck right. Well, that leaves one choice left. Okay. We are bullshitting our way through this one. Jump duck. Left, right. So jump, jump. 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 Okay. I guess jump's the one that canceled itself out. I could form a single comprehensible thought. I noticed Fang charging at me. It might be nice to also have a refresher for the rules like you do with hacking. It'd be nice to it would be nice to have a way to recall all the friggin' foibles of the fighting minigame we've seen so far. Might have a bit better time with it. With jumping back into it after a long while gone, so to speak. Before I could form a single comprehensible thought, I noticed Fang charging at me. We're going right back into it. Shit! Flash of panic, I jumped off the desk I was leaned against. This was a bad idea. Too late now. I was already in midair, attempting to actually clear Fang by going over him. Oh no. In a miraculous moment, it actually worked. I could have gone horribly wrong. He could have gotten Hulk Loki Avengers. Hell yeah! I had practically one moment of victory before I noticed Yi brandishing his knife. I just vaulted right into range, oh shit. Slash, slice, slab, swing, slash, spin, surprise, slash, slice. Eat that. Oh, I actually got that one. Eat that a long, wide slice, cutting through the air, aimed right at my stomach. Last moment I jumped out of the way, successfully avoiding the blade. That was just one slash. Yi's assault was far from over. Slash, slice, swing, stab, buck. Slice, swing, stab. Z lunged toward me, knife coming down at me. I spotted an opportunity. Yes, I'm saves coming. Don't add me. This is a lot. I just had to beat him to the punch, literally. Rushed forward and slammed Yi right in the face with my clenched fist. I was completely taken off guard by this maneuver and stumbled backwards. I tried to rush forwards to press my advantage, but he began blindly swinging his knife in an attempt to keep me away. It was unfortunately effective. After a couple of seconds, Yi had recovered. He was not pleased. Slash slice, spin swing, surprise! Okay, that was lucky. Literally seconds left there. Yi rushed forward, hoping to stab me right in the chest. Shit! I had to avoid it, but dodging to the left or right might leave me vulnerable. Instantly, I jumped backward once more out of the knife's way and into Fang's grasp. It was at this moment I felt my arm start to be picked up. Shit! Behind me, Fang was holding both my arms out, pinned. Tried struggling, but it was no use. He was too strong. Oh boy. Here we go. Fuck, I had lost. In front of me, a slightly bruised Yi wiped the blood off his face and brandished his knife with a dangerous look in his eye. He slowly walked up to me. This wasn't good. It was going to gut me. I had to. You know, some of my more bullheaded compatriots in the organization would say something like, I respect the fight you put up. You were a worthy challenger, I like that. What a load of shit. I tried to kill you and you hit me a lot. That pisses me off. I'm going to enjoy Ooh, it was at this point Yi was cut off at the back of his head, received the swing of a fist. Realizing that I was in imminent peril, Krish decided to rush in and help. Honestly, I was in no position to complain. He turned around with a furious expression. However, right as his face was facing Krish, they gave him a mean uppercut. Ooh! Yi stumbled back a step or two, and Krish continued to pummel Yi. Hell yeah, get you some, Krish! After a few punches, however, Yi successfully blocked Krish's other blows. Okay, retreat, Krish, retreat! With momentum back on his side, Yi countered with a kick to Krish's gut. Krish fell to one knee, and Yi began to lift his blade to cut down. However, Krish saw an opportunity there. They took it. They jumped up and kicked out at the hand with which Yi held the blade. Watching this from Fang's grasp, I could have screamed at Krish to ask them what the hell they were doing. It's a supremely risky attack. Every now and then, dumb determination won out the day. The blow hit Yi right in the wrist, causing him to let go of the knife at that precise wrong moment. Blade soared back through the air. Quickly estimated the blade's arc and swung forward from Fang's arms. I was able to catch the discarded blade between my feet. Oh! Instantly I swung back with my leg, stabbed Fang in his leg with a knife. He cried out in pain, releasing me from his grip. He rolled forward out of the fall, grabbing the blade out of Fang's leg all the while. Immediately I lunged out and slashed down at Yi. He blocked my strike with his arm, causing a major gash. Yes! Using blood in the water, I went for a straight stab at Yi. However, he wasn't out yet. He sidestepped my attack and slammed down on the blade, causing it to fall to the floor. I fought fast with my foot, pushed the knife on the floor to the other side of the room. Krish, who had been standing on the other side of Yi, immediately ran over to pick up the knife. Holy shit! We're going to turn our best friend into a murderer. He also rushed over in that direction. On the other hand, I just turned around. I had a score to settle and an advantage to push. Fang was still bent down, tending to stab him in his leg. It was low enough that I could jump up and strike down at him with a punch. It connected with a sickening thud, and Fang stumbled backwards. Immediately, I jumped again and punched his head with my other fist. A successful strike, which I immediately transitioned into an uppercut. Punched him twice in the side of the stomach before kicking him right in the center of it. Coiling for the punch to the gut, Fang's head was low enough that I could grab onto his hair and slam his head into the side of the wall. And I poked him right in both eyes. As he lifted up his head, crying in pain, I took a step back and slammed my fist straight into his stomach with all my energy. Blow after blow after blow. Fuck this guy in particular. I was running on pure adrenaline, not taking a moment to slow down. God, I hope Krish is okay. Every hit was intense, but more importantly, each blow was different. It was not affording Fang a moment to recover or even get used to the type of attack I was hitting him with. He was a monster, but even he couldn't resist if I didn't let up on him for a moment. When I was running out of room for him to back out, I decided to finally go for the kill. Go back and slam my foot right in his Couldn't even cry out in pain at this. He just silently toppled over. Not yet was I done. Rushed over and with one hand, grabbed the hair on his head and held him up. How is someone surviving this many blows to the head? That feels like a lot. With my other hand, I made a fist and slammed his head directly onto the floor. Okay, that's gotta be a knockout. Below in a satisfying thunk, then I felt like I could relax. No, not relax. I was done with Fang. Krish, are you okay? Goliath down, but not done. Turned around and began walking over towards the other scum. On the other side of the room, it seemed as though Krish had successfully grabbed the knife. Using it, they were staring down Yi, who seemed only slightly deterred by the blade. I walked over behind Yi and grabbed the back of his neck. The hell? I pulled him over and threw him against the wall on the other side of the room. He looked confused and tried to get back to his feet, but before he could manage that, I grabbed the front of his head and slammed it into the wall behind him with all the energy I could muster. This sent him collapsing straight to the floor, face first. A few moments later, he slowly got up to his knees. It was clear he was done. The fight was over. I had won. We had won. Fucking Krish saved our asses, but I wasn't done with him. Who are you working for? Ooh, what? I socked Yi straight in the eye. He shouted out, more in indignation than pain, and reached for his eye. Who are you working for? Okay, I'm intrigued. The Duats, you jackasses. Obviously. Reached forward and punched him in the chest several times, culminating with a pretty brutal shot to the gut. This is cathartic. He slumped over slightly and began to wheeze. He was in pain. Good. Good. Quit with the clever answers. Who are you really working for? The fuck are you talking about? Grabbed one of Yi's hands and held his arm out. Then I stomped as hard as I could on the middle of his arm, bending it in a way that arms really shouldn't bend. Goddamn, Vels. It was a satisfying breaking noise and Yi began crying out. Waited a few moments to let Yi slightly recover. Then, who do you answer for? I guess I don't answer to anyone. I don't really care about the Duats, I'm just out for myself. Reached forward and grabbed the front of Yi's face, though not before I could see the mounting horror in his eyes. Then I slammed his head against the wall behind him. Then I slammed it again. Oh, God! And then again. Again and again. I just slammed his head against the bricks, sir. Oh, God. Hi, Krish. Finally, as I saw flecks of blood, I let go and took a few steps back. He began coughing up a storm. Okay, to be honest, I was slightly taking a shot in the dark here. I had more or less reached two rough theories about what was really happening in Panthea. Recently, I changed my mind on which of those theories felt more likely. The new frontrunner involved Yi as an active participant. Last chance. Who do you answer to? Fuck you. Those two words were the trigger. Before I knew it, my hands were around Yi's neck, and they squeezed in. I was choking Yi. Harder. Harder. He tried grasping for breath, but I wouldn't let the air into his lungs. I was right up close to this fuck. For whatever reason, a memory came to me. A memory of my father. Killed by a gang member piece of shit like this one. Memory of my mother. Killed by a gang member piece of shit like this one. Yi. This fucker. This amoral dipshit. Maybe there were relative moralities to the people in this organization. But Yi had no excuse. He'd make plenty of excuses, sure. I was certain he had all sorts of clever things to say. There was no true excuse. He was a sexist, selfish, shit-eating scumbag who would stab friend or foe to get ahead and showed no signs of stopping. The world would be better without him. We've already killed Thane. There was nobody who would miss him. He deserves to suffer. Is Krish going to stop us? Fingernails began to cut his skin. His face was past red, starting to get blue. I could see his eyes turning bloodshot. More. Vels! All of a sudden I heard a voice call out from behind me. Stop this! He deserves it. Maybe, but still, you don't. What? You don't have to do this. You shouldn't murder somebody, even like this. You do that, how are you any better than him? He's defeated. He's no longer a threat. What you're doing now isn't helping anybody. It's just cruel and hurting yourself in the long run. So just stop it. Hey, Krish, want to be leader of the Duats? Don't let him win. Would your dad want this? What? Would he want you to lose yourself to revenge again? I looked back to Yi. This fuck. It wasn't like killing would be crossing a line for me anymore. I mean, true, we crossed that line, playing Thane. Still, I didn't like the idea of being a murderer. It was probably good to keep killing as a last resort. Definitely would be bad to murder Yi in front of Krish's eyes like this. Yi deserved punishment. A lot of it. He was one of the most contemptible players in Panthea, and that was saying a lot. Still, he was thoroughly beaten. He had alienated most of the Duat members back there. He was out of options. And so, I let go. Yi began coughing violently the moment I took a few steps away. Well, that just meant he was alive. Unfortunately. Given that, I think it was probably safe to chalk up Yi as an independently motivated factor in all this. Definitely would have given it up if he was hiding something just there. So then, I felt like getting a headache. Was I being naive earlier? More important things to deal with. Are you thinking a limbo is involved, or are you thinking the devil is involved? Or rather, the angel running Panthea. Like, a greater scope person here that Mosley, Marduk, Aisha, and Art answer to as the three big controlling factors of Panthea. For example, turned over to Krish. Krish, what the fuck are you doing here? Took a moment for Krish to process the whiplash of topics. Oh, you mean like this specific room, or, I mean, how'd you get caught for murdering Marduk, you idiot? Right, about that. Thought you were in trouble. Excuse me? Yeah, no, I was at my hotel room and I got a message. A message. Phone in the room rang. When I picked it up, it was this weird automated voice. They said they were friends with you, but also a Duat member. And they said you had gotten yourself in a lot of trouble. The Duats had caught up to you. Wait, how did this voice know what phone number to call? I don't know, it confused me too. But, I guess I had bigger things to worry about at the time. I asked what I could do to help. They said that they were occupied, but somebody else could sneak into the room you were being held and, stage a whole rescue attempt thing. They gave me a specific location and instructions on how to get into the room you were supposed to be in. It was dangerous, of course, but I couldn't do nothing. I followed what they said and made my way here. I entered this very office, like they said, through that window. Except when I entered, I didn't see you. I saw, that dead body. Oh yeah, Marduk's here, he's dead. Krish pointed over to the dead body of Marduk, leader of the Duats, who had in fact just been lying on the couch in the same room the whole time. Is it the same couch that we pushed up against the door? Is it that same couch? Obviously, this was very confusing and scary. Thought maybe you broke free yourself? I wanted to see what was happening, so I went over to the office door and peeked out of it. You what? Look, we both regret a lot of my decisions, okay? Don't need to rub it in. Anyway, I guess somebody saw me open the door briefly. I realized there were still tons of Duat members around. I tried to flee through the window. But, well, they caught me before I could get out. Could do nothing but sigh. You pure-hearted fool. Krish. This was nice that they had tried to save me, but honestly I was too disappointed in how they handled the whole affair to really appreciate it all that much. Anyway, it seems like this anonymous voice had been doing a lot of work recently. It was war, after all. Is it the same anonymous voice that was contacting Bach? Part of me wondered how they had access to where Krish was staying. Given all the information they seemed to have access to, it honestly didn't seem that implausible. The point was, I was still being hunted down. The enemy wasn't above putting people I was close to in jeopardy to lure me out. The list wasn't very long, but goddammit, they still had found a way. Looked around once more. Yi was still far from recovering. The door to the main area of the V-Hall was still closed. It was probably time to get going. Walked over to the window. Then I turned over to Krish. Look, Krish. Escape through this window after me. Then just go straight back to the hotel room where you were before it. You were at before, just stay there. Lock the door, don't let anybody inside, even Bali. Maybe take Yi's knife with you, just in case. Just need to hide out a bit longer. Yi was the one pushing for you to be captured, and something tells me he's going to be out of commission after all this. Still, we should play it safe, hide out for a bit longer. Got it? Suddenly dazed by it all, Krish just nodded. Good. Then I began climbing up the office windowsill. As I did this, Krish looked at me closer. They had had an opportunity up until now, but they had a moment to really look at me. When I got up to the windowsill, I turned back to them. Vels, who are you? Krish was smarter than they let on. All my recent past had been incredibly calculated. One thing, really, that I hadn't planned on was befriending Krish. They were a good person. Still too naive, but they would grow out of that. They had charisma, ambition, and a genuinely nice personality, and that was a combination that tended to take you far. I still want to see the alternate ending path where Krish opens the door and just says, hey guys, I'm your new leader. It was nice getting to know them. Loath as I was to admit it, they made my time in Panthea far more enjoyable. At the start, our relationship was ill-fated. I couldn't be tying myself down with any connections. And Krish deserved better than to be dragged into dangerous situations they clearly weren't meant for. So I took a breath and said my goodbye. Live well, Krish. Oh. And in the future, don't enter the headquarters of a violent gang because an augmented voice told you to. That final remark, I turned around and hopped out of the other side of Marduk's office. I began making my way far away from the V-Hall. I didn't have time to look back. There was still so much to do ahead of me. Now that, I can get behind that. This is the shit I love. Same, easy, same. Almost don't want to dwell there too long. Let the adrenaline speak for itself. That was fucking satisfying. But I suppose I should say some parting words. Not for Laura. That girl had it coming. I am kind of sad for Laura. I was hoping she'd be more involved in the Olimpo subplot. I was hoping she'd show up in however the Olympos subplot resolved itself. Not gonna lie. I'm a bit disappointed about that, but the rest of this chapter was fucking enjoyable. Holy shit. I liked her, but she went about everything wrong. Can't really sympathize. She did miss a few tricks to really get one up on Yi, and got by Yi. Probably rightfully, given how she conducted this confrontation, but it's a shame. I hope she would have been more involved in the Olympo resolution. Like, it seemed like she was trending that direction after we busted her out of the V-Hall. So this is a bit disappointing for her character path, but as far as resolving Vels and Krish's story path, and Yi's, mostly intertwined with Vels and Krish, fucking satisfying. No, I want to say goodbye to Yi. I mean, Vels didn't kill him, which is something, but let's be real. I'd be surprised if we see him again. Maybe if we check in with Thane. We'll see. It's interesting, though, that Vels didn't kill Yi. In deference to Yi, I'll leave us off with a quote. If ever we witness or hear about some terribly violent act, we'll be quick to think ourselves different from the savage that committed that act. However, what makes such violent acts possible is precisely that lack of empathy. Something to chew on. Who knows if it's relevant? I'm intrigued. Okay. Well, I suppose we'll check in with Laverna next time and see if we get that resolution to the Olimpo arc. The resolution to Yi's arc was fucking satisfying. I don't know if we've seen the last of Bach. If only because the last lock part left off on a cliffhanger. So, yeah, that was, wow. It was kind of satisfying to see the Seth and Mildera arc tied up in Laverna's last episode. But as far as Chapter 7's go so far, this was my favorite so far. Probably Locke's in second place just because the cliffhanger's interesting, and the card game was really interesting. Like, I really want to find a situation to try out that card game IRL with a group of people. Just because that's a really fun card game you can actually perform IRL with a compatriot. But yeah, that was a loaded episode there. We have a lot of story threads to go off of. We have the automated voice, which we hear has been putting in work. We don't know for sure, but we can presume that it was responsible for Bach betraying Locke, and possibly more further on down the line. We've obviously encountered it a few times already here. Oh, that's right. We did have the cliffhanger at the end of Laverna's last chapter. With Yi texting us. Maybe that's the continuation of Thane's story. Maybe we see the follow-up to the Laverna cliffhanger in Thane's story. It seems to make sense. I'm really curious where we're going to see the follow-up to Locke's cliffhanger, though. Vels' story is resolved. It's wrapped up pretty neatly. We don't know enough yet to place it in the timeline of events that seem to be going on quite recently here. The timeline of events being the heist, the Duat heist. It's obviously some point, probably after. I would put it after Locks, a fair bit after Locks, with room for others to go. Others to go to tease the automated voice doing some more, which I suspect they are doing more. Maybe we get the follow-up of this in Devon's last story. And again, I don't know because we don't have that last gold key yet. Like, Laverna's follow-up is going to be in Thane's story because it directly involves Yi. The only personality of ours that Yi would be texting is Thane. So, things are starting to come together. Yi's arc resolved. I suspect next time we will get Eris to resolve the Olimpo arc. I'm disappointed that it won't involve Laura more, but again, maybe it will. Maybe this takes place before the Olimpo story. Before the Olimpo story? Maybe the Vels' Duat confrontation with Krish takes place after the Olimpo resolution in Eris' story. I don't know, we'll see. Next time, though. This was really good. Till next time, though. Until then, thanks for watching.